Hey everybody, and welcome back to Can Do Entertainment presents May the Force Be With Who, episode 17. And yeah, I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to get new content up, but I've recently moved. I've changed towns, changed states. So, new town, new state, new pops, new episode. Alright, and I know that I've done a whole lot more Star Wars episodes than I have done Who episodes, and I'm trying to rectify that. So over the next three episodes, you gotta love that southern kind of witticism. But anyway, I'm gonna try to remedy that and do a few more Who-based episodes over the next few days, so trying to balance that out a little bit. So here we go. In some interesting Who-related news, the Doctor Who YouTube channel last week posted a teaser video, an animated teaser video for the Patrick Troughton classic Evil of the Daleks. Now, as long-term Who fans are well aware of, most of Patrick Troughton's historical run on the show was wiped in the great BBC purge in the 70s, and there are episodes that have been missing for decades and we will probably never see again. However, we did get lucky back in 2013, the 50th anniversary year, where two stories were found in a storage room in Nigeria, those two stories being The Web of Fear and Enemy of the World. Well, most of The Web of Fear. There's still the one episode that's just the telesnaps. But anyway, that's another story, never mind. Anyway, moving on. The trailer for Evil of the Daleks is all animated. And there have been some Patrick Troughton stories and a couple of William Hartnell stories that have filled in the gaps from the missing episodes with animation. And it appears that the whole story for Evil of the Daleks is going to appear to be animated, with the original story's dialogue and soundtrack and sound effects, which I think is a great idea. And hopefully they will try to do that for all of the missing Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell stories. I mean, could you imagine that maybe one day we'd finally get to see the Highlanders again, even if it's animated, or the Abominable Snowman, or I'm drawing a blank at some other classics that are lost, but they're lost, and if they can animate them and put the original soundtrack and dialogue to it, more power to them. Let's do it. Yesterday, I came across an article on Inverse.com about how Mark Gatiss has read the script for the upcoming 2016 Doctor Who Christmas special. Thank you, BBC, for making us wait. Haha, I've not let that go. And Mark Gatiss is quoted as saying that this Christmas special will have the fans in the Whoniverse crying or tear-jerking more than they did in the David Tennant finale, The End of Time Part 1 and Part 2. Now, whether these are going to be tears of joy, tears of anger, tears of sorrow, tears of frustration, he did not elaborate, but said that Stephen Moffat had wrote a very tear-jerking script. I take this with a huge grain of salt, considering this is coming from the man who wrote Series 9's atrocious story, Sleep No More, that introduced us to eye booger monsters. But Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat do work together on the successful show Sherlock, and every now and then Mark Gatiss does write a good show, The Crimson Horror, to be one of them, so I can't really name any off the top of my head right now, but yeah, I'm going to take that with a little grain of salt. The man who gave us eye booger monsters in Sleep No More has read the script for the Christmas episode in 2016 and says it's a tearjerker. It's the biggest tearjerker in the history of Doctor Who. So yeah, whatever you want to take from that. But anyway, the main focus or the main event of this episode of May the Force Be With Who is the review of Jenny T. Colgan's 10th Doctor and Donna book, In the Blood, which I just finished today. Now, 10 and Donna are my favorite TARDIS team of the New Who era. And Jenny T. Colgan does a great job of capturing the actual voice and essence of the characters of the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble in this book. And it's just a very refreshing story over her last major attempt at a Doctor Who novel, which was Dark Horizons back in 2012, which was the 11th Doctor meeting Vikings. Anyway, moving on. I really enjoyed this. Whoa, it's backwards. I really did enjoy this story. Because like I said, it really captured the essence of both Tin and Donna. And we get a little bit of Wilf in there, and a little bit of Wilf is never a bad thing. But the main plot of the story, basically, it's kind of a modern day concept, which is a little odd considering that most of these stories were supposed to take place around the 2007, 2008 era. It's almost like a 2016 kind of storyline because it's about internet trolls and about how a alien type disease or creature called rimpaths start infecting internet trolls and basically building up their rage and building up their rage. People on the internet bitching about stuff get infected with a rimpath until it leads to them having death by anger or like a cold, icy feeling around their heart until they die. It's like we bitch about stuff on the internet, which is kind of maybe a commentary on Who fandom. Maybe so. But anyway, it is an enjoyable read. It is a globe-hopping, story. They are in India. They are in Bangkok. They are in the jungle. It hops from place to place, and they just don't use the TARDIS. There's a real interesting little side story about why they don't have the TARDIS. And they're constantly being pursued by a mysterious, tall, dark, and motionless man with yellow eyes like an owl who's called Thief. And he's emotionless, and he's a comedian, I believe might be the pronunciation of his species. And he's following the Doctor and Donna, and whether or not he's actually a friend or a foe, I'm not going to give away. But he has an interesting backstory, and the whole what his race is and what it's all about is crucial to how the story develops and the end of the plot. But this is a spoiler-free review. But anyway, Gene T. Colgan very, very well captures the voice of David Tennant and Catherine Tate in this book. I recommend it very highly. It's one of the best new Who books I've read in a long time. So, and it was an easy read, just kind of blew through it when I had the time. So I highly recommend this book. And like I said, there's a little bit of Wilfred Mott in there. Everybody loves Donna's granddad. So highly recommend this. It was a step up from her last book, Dark Horizon. Really can't recommend that one too much, but I recommend this one highly. So go to your local book dealer, pick it up, especially if you enjoyed the 10th Doctor and Donna, who, like I said, are my favorite TARDIS team of the new era. And actually, a little side note, David Tennant and Catherine Tate have been doing Big Finish audios lately, a brand new series of Big Finish audios. And there is a tie-in to those Big Finish audios. One of the characters, one of the villains, does happen to end up being the villain in this story. So without prior knowledge of that, you might be like, well, who in the hell is this dude? He's like a kind of big squid dude or whatever. So maybe visualize an Aqualish from Star Wars, those of you who might know what I'm talking about. But I highly recommend In the Blood. Give it a read. And yeah, that's going to wrap us up for episode 17 of May the Force Be With Who. Alright, now I plan to be back in the next few days where I'm going to do my personal favorite episodes for each of the brand new era Doctors. Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and Peter Capaldi. Now, I'm going to start with Christopher Eccleston, of course, the 9th Doctor. And it's only going to be a top 5 list because, as we know, he only did one series. And there will be rules and caveats and whatever, and I'm sure some of you will not agree with my list, but it's a personal favorites list, not what I think is just the greatest Who of all time. So, as always, click, like, subscribe, leave comments below, and I know you guys can do it because you damn sure did it on my Suicide Squad review. So anyway, until next time, as always, keep on keeping on, and may the Force be with Who.